Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsey. Today I wanted to share with you some basics of heat embossing. And normally I get on and I share how to make a full card, but with the holidays and all the cards that I've been designing lately, they have included a lot of heat embossing. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get on, I'm going to do one video to show you how to do heat embossing. And then when I'm sharing the other videos of how to make the cards, I can refer you back to this video for those of you who maybe are new to heat embossing. So I just want to quickly walk you through some of the supplies you're going to need. You do need to have an ink, and I love Versamark ink. It is a sticky ink, and I've used it in a lot of different ways on my channel, but this is the main way that it's kind of been designed. And another product that you definitely need is an embossing buddy. And you can get an embossing buddy with the Embossing Additions toolkit. And it includes the embossing buddy, a brush to remove any excess powder, tweezers, and these are really nice tweezers. I don't know what they're called specifically. I'm sure some of you do, but they open when you squeeze. And so they have a really nice tight grip when you're not squeezing. So they're really easy to hold. And then a tray. And some of these items I use a lot more than others, but definitely the embossing buddy is a must. And then you also need a heat tool. The nice thing about the Stampin' Up! Heat tool is there are 2 settings. Okay, so if you're interested in any of these products, you can get them through my Stampin' Up! Online store, and the link is below in the description. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and the link is here in the bottom right corner. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 different techniques. The first one is just your basic heat embossing, and I'm going to use white embossing powder. Oh, that's the other thing you need is embossing powder. And Stampin' Up! Sells 2 packs of embossing powder. The first one is the basics, and that includes the white as well as a clear and black. Okay, so you're going to get those colors. Today I'm going to share with you white on colored cardstock, and then a fun technique that you can do with clear embossing powder. And then the other pack is the metallics. And these are really fun. I love using these as well. I haven't used them as much over the last couple weeks, and so that's why I'm mainly using white. But we have silver and copper and gold. And so those are the 3 colors in the metallics pack. So you do need to also have powder. Okay, so our first step, I'm going to do this twice. So I'm going to do it first here. This is a nice dark cardstock color. This is Cajun Craze. And I always recommend using an embossing buddy. What this is going to do is lay down a fine powder that will help your embossing powder not stick to your cardstock. Because if you don't use embossing buddy, the powder can stick to your fingerprints, it can stick to the cardstock, maybe there's a little bit of static. And so what we really want it to do is only stick to the powder. So you're going to ink up and stamp your greeting in Versamark on your colored cardstock. And then instead of using the Stampin' Up! Tray, I like to purchase these clear trays. They stack and they're really easy just to put away when I'm done. And then I just sprinkle the powder on, and you can also do it from the jar. Tap off the excess, and then make sure you move the tray when you're heat, because you don't want to accidentally heat up all that loose powder. And then I always heat from the bottom, and I think this gives me a smoother finish on the top of the powder. So as you're heat embossing, you want to keep moving the heat tool underneath the paper. So don't let it just sit in one place. And then you just keep it in that one area until the powder begins to get shiny, and then you can move on to the next area. And so then you're going to get something that looks like this. And then I take a microfiber towel. This one's just a knit towel with, what I like about it is it has a lot of little grooves to collect that embossing buddy. And then once that has cooled, you can remove the excess embossing buddy. And so then you can get back to your nice color of cardstock. Okay, I'm going to repeat that here on this real red paper, and we'll show you that. So this card, this greeting actually comes from the Simply Zinnia stamp set, and I'm using it on this card here. All right, so for this one, I am using the next two techniques for my second card. And this one we're going to do the Cheer All Year on Real Red. So just to walk you through those same steps again, embossing buddy, and then your Versamark ink pad with your stamp, and right in the center. Because this piece of cardstock is smaller, I am going to use the tweezers. I'm going to pull in my white embossing powder again and cover up the greeting and then tap off the excess. The brush is for any excess powder that maybe did not get tapped off. If you used the right amount of embossing buddy, then you shouldn't have to have any use for the brush. The tweezers are also nice when you're working on a small piece because it keeps your fingers away from the heat tool. When I heat emboss, I do use the second setting on my heat tool. Let that cool, and then grab a towel and just buff off the embossing buddy. Just like that. Isn't that so pretty? Okay. So for my second technique, and again, these are really basic techniques. So there's a lot of other fun things that you can do with embossing, heat embossing, but I just wanted to give you some basics here. This time I'm going to work on some basic white cardstock. I'm going to do the exact same step, embossing buddy. Sometimes a little harder to see on basic white if you've got a good coverage. So this time I'm going to work with colored ink and clear embossing powder. And what this does is it gives our colored images a really nice shine to them. We do have to work quickly because the classic stamping ink pads are not meant to stay wet for very long. And the key is to apply the clear powder when the ink is still wet. So you're going to take your ink or your stamp and ink it up in your colored ink. Make sure it's got a good coverage. You're going to stamp. Here, let's move the ink pad so it gets out of the way. Then you're going to stamp in that area where you've applied the embossing powder. Make sure you have good even pressure so you get a good image. And then you're going to quickly go to your tray and apply your clear embossing powder. Now you'll know you've got good coverage because it gets lighter and you can see a little bit of the texture from the powder. and then we're going to heat it up. And there we go. And I'm not sure if you can see that shine on the text, but it is so pretty, especially in person and with these beautiful, rich, dark colors. And so those are the two different ways that you can use heat embossing to create beautiful cards. So for this one, I'm going to use the clear embossing on the color. And then I've got Cheer All Year for this card. And I am going to share how to make this card on my channel as well in the next couple days. So make sure to check back to see the fun stitching detail that I've included here at the bottom. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing these basic heat embossing techniques. For more information on paper crafting or card making, you can visit my blog, creativechelsey.com, or jump around and watch more videos here on my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.